Welcome to this new video where we will talk about electricity, switches, three-way switches, push buttons, impulse relays and wireless switches. You will see that there are several ways to wire switches, especially if you want to have more than one. So why wireless? Not long ago I installed a wireless switch, this model, the Schneider Otis. So it's available from Legrand and from other brands as well. It works perfectly. These are ready to use kits. You replace the original switch with the one provided in the kit and you have a second switch that's wireless and you can put it wherever you want. It's convenient for renovations. It saves you from having to cut into the walls, patch them up, wait for them to dry, do the taping, apply the plaster, wait for it to dry, paint, you know how it goes. You don't have to cut into the wall, you can put it wherever you want, on a wall with double-sided tape, with screws, or even in a standard wall box, and you just attach your switch. Even though it's ultra flat, you can still use a box to mount it. You can place it on a nightstand, headboard, or anywhere you like, making it very convenient. It can also be useful in the case of a temporary installation. You just broke a partition, the cable or the conduit is hanging down, you think it looks ugly and it's dangerous, so you cut the power. And each time you'll have to cross the room to turn it off, then cross back in the dark to go to bed, for example. Well, you can use a wireless solution for something temporary. You replace the switch, you put the second one at the other end, and you can turn it off without having to cross the room in the dark. So it's convenient, wireless. But it comes at a certain price, meaning this kit costs 70 euros. So 70 euros, that's starting to get expensive for switches. There are cheaper ones, like this kit. To be honest, I ordered it on Amazon. I don't know it at all. We're going to test it. Maybe it's really good, maybe it's not good at all. Maybe it's not high quality. I have absolutely no idea. We'll test it and see how it turns out. You can get the same thing, as I told you, from different brands. Legrand or Schneider, it doesn't matter. There are also these two-way switch kits. So in this case, you'll need switches and you connect the boxes behind the switches, whether they're new or old. You can use your original switches and connect the boxes and turn any switch, whether it's new or old, into a wireless switch. Okay, but you'll need quite a bit of space because if you already have a bulky switch and add this, you'll need a pretty deep box. This is a standard box, a deeper box. You see, it's deeper, so I'll be able to fit all my boxes. So if you buy this kind of kit, make sure you have enough space in the box because here I'm just talking about the switch and two boxes, not even mentioning the wires. So it might take up a lot of space. Okay, so Legrand, Schneider, no matter the brand. You see here I have Schneider Otis, I have Duxi, I have a Legrand relay switch, a Schneider circuit breaker. I made myself a mini setup with a 10 amp Legrand circuit breaker. 10 amps is more than enough for lighting. It's in my mini box. You'll have to use your imagination. It's an electrical box, it's up to code, there are terminal blocks, everything is okay, it's in a conduit. Trust me, this is just for demonstration purposes, so please be understanding. Of course, we'll turn off the power for every operation. We're not being careless. One important thing, I'm reusing the cable that's here. You absolutely have to follow the color codes of the wires. So here, for my little demonstration, we're not going to deal with the ground wire. But logically, you're supposed to connect the ground wire to your light bulb. Well, in some cases, here. We're going to do a test with a light bulb and a socket. It could be a lighted mirror in a bathroom. It could be spotlights, fluorescent lights, whatever you want. There could be several of them. But here, in my case, we're just going to use a light bulb and a socket. It's 3G15, that's enough for lighting. So it's a conduit. Well, a cable, it could be a pre-wired conduit. The ground wire is yellow and green. It's always yellow and green. You don't use a blue, brown or purple wire. For the ground wire, that's strictly forbidden. It's yellow, green and nothing else. The neutral wire is blue. It's always blue. You don't use the yellow and green wire for the neutral. You don't use an orange or red wire for the neutral. It's blue. It stays blue. That's mandatory. Yellow and green are for ground. Blue is for neutral. For the hot wire, you use brown, black, orange, red or purple if you want. You can do whatever you want with the hot wire. But you also don't use yellow and green for the hot wire. You don't use blue for the hot wire. But you have a choice of colors. I told you. brown, black, red, purple, orange, okay? And it's useful in some cases, for example, in the case of let's say a single switch. If you're logical, you don't necessarily need to change the color between the switch and the bulb, although it's recommended, but beyond 1 or 2 switches, it's useful to change the color because it's easier to identify. But I told you, I'm repeating myself, it's very important. Blue for the neutral, yellow, green for the ground, that's mandatory. So we're going to start by doing something very simple, connecting a switch. I have my 10 amp circuit breaker, it's right here. The light bulb, my 2 wires, I'm going to connect them directly to the circuit breaker. It'll light up, we'll cut the cable and connect our switch. So I take the camera, I get closer, we see how it goes, and then we'll move on to 2 switches, 5 switches, and we'll finish with the wireless one.
So we start from the circuit breaker.
The neutral and the hot are connected, you can't go wrong. On the circuit breaker, there's an N at the top and bottom that shows us the neutral is on the left and the hot is on the right. We're going to connect the bulb directly. I've cut and put in connectors. You'll understand why in a moment. So we're going to connect the bulb directly. The neutral, there we go, and the hot wire. That's done. So now if we turn on the power, it lights up. It's logical, it's connected directly. So the idea here is to install a switch. So let's use our imagination. We're inside a drywall partition. We're going to use a box so we can install the switch. We're not going to touch the neutral wire. The neutral doesn't go through the switch. It goes directly from the circuit breaker to the bulb. We're only going to switch the hot wire. So in your box, you connect the neutral wire with a connector, a terminal block, whatever you want. But it must be connected directly from the circuit breaker to the bulb. We only switch the hot wire.
There you go.
We remove the connector. We take a switch, Legrand, Schneider, whatever. On the back, the line terminal is marked in red. You can't go wrong. There's an L underneath. So L for live, live in English, which means the live or hot line. So the P for phase, they could have put it for us. They prefer to use English. That's how it is. Number 1 will be the wire that directly connects the switch to the bulb. And number 2, we'll see that later when we have a second switch to connect. So for now, we're going to take the hot wire that goes from the circuit breaker to the switch. So we connect it here on the red terminal. We take the wire that goes from the switch to the light bulb and we connect it there to the one. Here's what it looks like. The neutral is connected directly. We turn it on and it lights up. I turn it off, I disconnect the hot wire. It's as simple as that. Yes, here the hot wire is connected here and here it's disconnected. You see, there's nothing complicated about it. So earlier I was telling you there are several colors for the hot wire. Normally I'm supposed to, all right, let's take it off. You'll see what we're supposed to do. Replace the wire that goes from the switch to the bulb with a wire of a different color. The blue one stays blue. It won't change anything at all except that we've changed the color of the wire between the switch and the bulb. It will work the same way. But it's a recommendation to change the wire. There we go, we put it back. And it works. So that's it. It should look like the wired switch. And nothing complicated. Except that you have to change when you go from the switch to the bulb, you run another wire of a different color. So it could be red, it could be orange, it could be purple. Here you see purple. So you use whatever color you want. But as I was saying, the blue wire stays blue. It's connected directly from the 10 amp breaker to the bulb and we switch the hot wire. So I'm taking all this apart. And then we'll see how to wire a 3-way setup, 2 switches to turn on a light from 2 different switches. So now the idea is to make a 3-way setup with 2 switches. They're still the same ones, Schneider or Dutch. Later we'll switch to the Legrand range, so no one feels left out. So here the idea is to create a traveler wire between the two so that we can turn the room's light on or off from either side with either switch. So for a light, it could be 2 lights or a set of spotlights, fluorescent lights, whatever you want. So for that, we're going to set up a traveler wire. Let's go over it again. The other bulb, which is currently connected directly. If I turn on the power, you see it lights up. I kept the color difference between the switch and the bulb. Since you have to change the wire color, especially when you use 2 switches, or even 3, 4, 5, you need several wire colors. So I keep the color difference. So we're going to remove it. The neutral is always connected directly. We remove the connector. I'll take one of the two. Remember earlier, the hot wire, the red wire, we connect the hot wire. For the other switch, we still have our hot wire here. Well, this time we're going to take the bulb. So, quite simply, the wire that goes from the switch to the bulb now connects to the hot wire this time, if it fits in properly. Maybe this one is a bit long, it doesn't matter, it's in. So that gives us this. Now we'll have to run the traveler wires between the two. So now you need to use a wire of another color. Here I have an orange one. It could be red, it doesn't matter. What you need is to clearly distinguish the brown from the purple from the traveler wire. So here mine is orange, it could be red or black. So we're going to take one of the two. We're going to put it in position 1, which is here. Up, we take the second one. We come, still in position 1. So each time we have 2 holes, either one or the other, it doesn't matter. There, we take it. Another orange wire, and we go to position 2, which is here. Same thing, one of the 2 holes, and we connect it to the other switch. Here I managed to put it in. There you go. We've built our traveler. And now I'm turning the power back on. The light bulb. So there we go, we threw it away. We turned the whole thing over. I'm going to put it here. So here I turn it on and off with 1 switch. I turn it on and off with the second switch. And in whatever order I want. Okay, you see, it's very simple. The idea is to connect. We have our hot wire, which is here. The bulb is connected to the hot terminal on the second switch. And we run a traveler between the two. So the small one goes on the one here. The 2 is connected to the 2. It's as simple as that. And you can turn it off, turn it on, whichever way you want. So now we're going to look at another solution. If I want to use 3 switches, this system has reached its limits, and we're going to move on to the latching relay. Well, for now we've seen a switch connected directly to a light bulb. Nothing could be simpler. We interrupt the hot conductor. The neutral goes directly from the circuit breaker to the bulb, and everything works just fine. We turn the bulb on or off, the spotlights, the fluorescent lights, whatever you want. Then we saw 2 switches, so we ran a traveler between the 2. It turns on a bulb from one switch or the other. They're on one side or the other of the room. It's just the length of the cables that makes the difference, okay? So bulb, spotlight, fluorescent light, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. We've run our traveler. Now, if I want to add a 3rd switch, that's where I've reached my limits. I'll have to switch to either a wireless system or a system with a latching relay, and that's definitely the best solution, because a latching relay isn't that expensive. It costs, let's say, between 20 and 30 euros depending on the model, depending on the brand. Legrand, Schneider, Eiger, General Electric, pick whichever brand you want. They come in single pole, double pole and triple pole versions, and this one is a silent model. So why is it silent? You should know that a latching relay makes a click, a noise, so if it's in a basement, a pantry, a laundry room, a cellar or a garage, it really doesn't matter. You won't hear it. But now, in new houses, they put the meters and the electrical panels right at the entrance. There's not really a wall between the entrance and the living room anymore. The kitchen, everything is open. And every time you press the switch, by the way, let me make a side note. We're not going to use the word switch with the latching relay anymore, but push button. It's a switch, except there's a spring inside. You absolutely have to use a push button with a latching relay so it can return to its position. Otherwise, there will be a conflict. And now, from my push button, I send a command to the latching relay, which will turn on the bulb. If I use a regular switch with the remote switch, it will stay in the open position. It will get completely stuck. There will be a conflict. It won't know what to do. Okay, so we use push buttons and they will return to their position. So no more conflict. So the click, this one is silent. It will hardly make any noise. You won't hear it. But again, even if it makes a click, it's a so-called entry-level latching relay. Once you press the switch, or rather the push button, it will make a click, but that's not a problem. It's not the switch that's making noise or is faulty. It's really the relay itself that makes the click because it's engaging. That's not an issue. At my place, the latching relays are about 10 years old and make a click, but they're in the garage, so I don't hear them. In the house, but that's not an issue. But now you have the silent range. Okay, so let's take a look at the latching relay. So the advantage of the latching relay is that it doesn't cost much. It's between 20 and 30 euros. Some are available for about 15 euros, you can find them. The advantage is the wiring. As soon as we place it in the panel, next to the 10 amp circuit breaker, we're going to wire the first switch, the push button. After that, it's child's play. With 2 wires, you can add as many push buttons as you want. If you want to put 10 push buttons in your living room, in your bedroom, it doesn't matter, you can. And you can install as many bulbs or ceiling spotlights as you want. It will simply operate the light fixture, and when you press, it sends the command and then the light fixture responds. It's as simple as that. So you can have unlimited push buttons, 1 impulse relay, and any number of bulbs and spotlights. And the wiring is super simple. Okay, I'll take the camera again, I'll move above it and we'll see all of that. So we're back in front of our 10 amp circuit breaker. We're going to be able to place the impulse relay right next to it. You even have the wiring diagram that's engraved directly on it. That can be handy. So we position it directly. You press it, it's clipped in. We'll be able to connect it. Of course, we're going to cut the power because if I test it now, boom, we've got electricity. So that's handy, these little voltage tester pens. So, of course, you can use a tester to verify absence of voltage, but to go faster, the pen gives you a visual indicator. You see, boom, you can immediately see there's power. I'll put the link in the description. As with the other tools, I'll discuss the pliers again at the end of the video. So now we cut the power. We double check. Now, there's nothing left. There's no more power. Okay, we're good. So now the idea is to connect the latching relay to the circuit breaker. Neutral, hot, there we go. And we connect neutral and hot at the top. The wire is here, it's prepared. It's 2 conductor, 2.5 square millimeter cable. I plug it in and then we'll take care of the push buttons. So now I've connected everything, I've turned the power back on. Let's check that we have power here. We turn it on and normally here, look, it lights up, you see. So here the latching relay is powered by the 10 amp circuit breaker. I'm moving the camera back to give us space at the bottom and side so we can see the push buttons. So now that the latching relay is positioned in the panel, it's connected. We can take our light bulb again like earlier. We're going to connect it directly and see what happens. So on the latching relay here, so on the right side of the latching relay at the bottom, there's a light bulb symbol. That means we need to connect this wire on this terminal. Quite simply, the neutral wire, we're going to connect it to the 10 amp circuit breaker. The neutral wire, just like earlier for the first switch, is connected. In fact, it is connected directly to the 10 amp circuit breaker. So here, obviously, we're going to end up with 2 wires because I had to connect my impulse relay, so we're going to cut the power. We're going to loosen the screw, connect the neutral wire that's always connected directly, and then we'll connect the bulb here on the little bulb logo. The wiring is done. I'm turning the power back on. If I press, it lights up. I'm turning it off. You got the idea. The neutral wire is connected directly, and my wire that supplies power. The bulb, normally up to the switch, goes through the impulse relay. So now we can connect our push buttons. So now what do we have left to connect? The brown live wire, the color we used earlier. We're going to start from the 10 amp circuit breaker, loosen it, and connect our live wire. For the switch, it's here on the impulse relay, marked with a switch logo. I'm not sure if the lighting shows it, but it's right here. We're simply going to loosen the screw and connect it. And these two wires will be able to power the push button. So we turn off the circuit breaker. Look, we can grab the push button and make the connection. So the hot wire is always shown in red. My hot wire is the brown wire. Okay, it comes from the circuit breaker. Then it doesn't matter which hole you use. You know, there are two. You take whichever one you want. There you go, it's done. Now we'll have to connect it. There, I'm taking it out, the orange wire for the switch. So depending on the brands, you see this one is a Legrand. Here we have a Schneider. You can see the position of the switch. Here it tells me that I should connect it in position 1. For this one on the Legrand, I have to set it to position 2. So depending on the brands, you check. Okay, and it's either 1 or 2. Anyway, you don't really have a choice. It's one or the other. Okay, so here I take the orange wire that starts here. There we go. And we put it in position 2. And that's it. So now if I turn the power back on, it works. And from there, we'll be able to plug it in. I'll put this one back. We'll put this one away. We don't need it anymore. We'll be able to connect as many switches as you want. If you want 3 switches or push buttons, if you want 5, 10, 20, you can put as many as you want. And it's incredibly easy. There's no need to run jumper wires between the push buttons anymore. I'll put this one back. I'll get some other Legrand Daxi ones and we'll connect them. So now we'll simply be able to do it. Connect others. Push buttons as many as we want by tapping off the same line each time. There, I've prepared my wires. I'll put the brown one back each time. So here we go. I say turn off the breaker. Okay, so for the hot wire, I'll take the second one from the hot feed. So now we continue. We put in another hot wire. On another one, a hot wire. We can continue. There we go. There we go, and we do the same thing. For the orange wire, it's just as simple as that. Orange. And one last little one to finish up. And there you go, that's it, it's finished. You see the wiring, it's very simple. Phase, phase, and then 2, 2, 2, 2, or if it's position 1, position 1, position 1, position 1, and so on. And you put as many as you want. So let's put it back. We press, it lights up. I can turn it off from here. I can turn it on from here and turn it off there from here. I'm turning it back on here. I'm turning it off if I can here. I'm turning it on. I'm turning it off. I'm turning it on. I'm turning it off. You also notice it makes no noise. In fact, it's extremely quiet. Otherwise, it makes a clicking sound. It's not unpleasant, but it can become annoying over time. So you get the idea. Now, if I want to keep going, I could add as many as I want. So here we've created a multi-way switching setup with as many switches as we want. Okay, you've seen how it works. The hot wire. And quite simply, we just wire the switches together. The neutral wire is always connected to the light bulb. It's as simple as that. We turn it off, we cut the power. That's it for the latching relay. Now we can move on to the wireless system. Alright, for the simple switches, the three-way switches, the push buttons, that's done. I removed the latching relay. I put back the basic setup, the switch and the bulb. Everything else is behind me now. Now we can focus on the wireless system. I told you about it earlier. I had installed the Schneider Audace. Legrand makes one too, and there are plenty of brands that make them. And today we're going to look at, I was going to say, entry-level products. I don't know if it's really entry-level. I have absolutely no knowledge of this brand. I don't know what it's worth. Let's open it. I just need a box cutter. I should have one here. See? We have plenty of box cutters. And we'll see how it turns out. We'll see how it turns out. They really sealed it shut. So what do we find? An instruction manual. The switch, which is wireless. You see it's extra flat. And the basic switch, which will replace your switch. Here we have a completely standard model. You see. If you have a switch from the brand Audace Legrand, it doesn't matter. You can go with another setup like the kit I showed you. You don't have to use a basic switch because it will definitely stick out and not match the ones you already have. But in this case, the client where I have to install it doesn't care at all. So on the back, it's very simple. You see, we have the hot wire, the switch, that's all there is. And the wireless one is ultra flat. So you don't have to screw it in. Because yes, they provide it. There's not much inside. You know, there's a lot of cardboard. No, there are no screws, there's no double-sided tape, there's nothing. Basically, there's just the switch, the standard one that needs to be replaced. To replace the old one with this one and the wireless one. So you can screw it in directly. You make 2 holes in the wall, use anchors and screws, or you can install a box. There's one here. A box. You take out the 2 screws and you use the screws from the box to attach the wireless switch. Or you can just leave it like that. You can put it on a nightstand, you can put it anywhere. And it works just as well. So let's pick up the camera again. Let's get back in front of the circuit breaker and the switch. It's as simple as that. We're going to remove the switch, put this one in place. And let's see if it's already paired. I have no idea. If that's not true, we'll handle it. Well, it's not very complicated. The manual we unpack, we set it up, we press 1 second, 2 seconds, I don't know, I can't see upside down. And it works. So 2 seconds, 1 second. It's as simple as that. Again, if it works well, why not, right? Why not try this brand or another one in the future, right? It doesn't matter. What matters is being able to have a wireless switch that doesn't cost too much. Because again, this 70 euros. That's starting to get expensive. Come on, let's stand in front of the old switch. Let's say it's an old switch we want to replace. We're looking at our first setup. The circuit breaker, the switch, the socket. We can clearly see the hot wire that's connected directly to the red terminal. The purple wire goes from the switch to the bulb. And the neutral wire goes directly from the bulb to the circuit breaker. So here we only switch the hot wire when we turn it on or off. So now I want to add a second switch. I don't want to make a mess or damage the walls. So we're going to choose a wireless solution. We're going to replace this switch with this one, which is connected to the second one wirelessly. So now I need to, there we go, turn off the breaker and I'll take it out. The purple wire, I'm taking the hot wire. So we take our switch. I need a screwdriver. Here the L represents the hot wire and the logo. And this one here is the switch. So my brown wire is my hot wire. I put it in. There we go, if it'll go in. Yes, so maybe it's a bit long. We're going to cut all of that. Not much, but we're going to cut it anyway. We're trimming its nails. There we go. So let's start again. The hot wire is here. That's better. It doesn't stick out. Wait. I have no choice about the purple wire anymore. it's gonna go here. And that's all. We turn the power back on. What are they telling us? That's good, it turns on by itself. Press for 2 seconds, then 1 second. So which way is it? Okay, the top is here. Okay, and this one, 1 second. Let's say that's 1 second. Well, this one works. And here, if I want to turn it on, it works. I want to turn it off. It works perfect. So the system here, well, I can't tell you it's the best system in the world because we had to pair them. The system I showed you earlier, Schneider, there's nothing to pair. The kit works on its own. And well, it's 70 euros for the same thing. Do we see them? No, we don't see them. There you go. I'll show them to you again on the internet. Okay. Nothing complicated. There we go. It works. There I heard, well, there's a little delay. But it works. So here's the wireless one. The principle is very simple. You just have to replace the original switch with the one that's sold in the kit. And the second one acts as the wireless switch that you can place wherever you want. It's that simple, and you can do it depending on the brand. Because with them, I don't know. What are they telling us? It's written in French up there. You can pause it. Add a light switch wherever you want. Smart and practical too. Okay. Compatible with all the transmitters, receivers, RF remotes and gateways from the Othio home range. So we can add more. I know that with Schneider and Legrand you can add as many as you want without cutting into the walls. That's the advantage. All right, let's wrap it up. All right, in conclusion, you can set up two-way switches either with wires or wirelessly. It works in both cases. Of course, there will be a difference in cost. I told you, 70 euros. It's about the same at Legrand. Here we have a kit that's cheaper, 25 euros. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. The plastic, it's not Schneider or Legrand quality. You can tell it's more fragile. If I press on it, I might break it. There's a battery inside. So obviously it has a lifespan. It's the same with Schneider, the same with Legrand or with other brands. You'll have to change the battery, but it will last over time. You don't have to change it every 3 months. It can last 2 years. It will last over time. If the batteries are once again of good quality, I'll take it out. I haven't even checked what kind of battery it is. It's not a well-known brand. Given the price, we expected that, but it will still last. It will need to be replaced. The advantage is that there's no need to cut a channel in the wall. The downside is that indeed there's a consumable that will have to be thrown away. And it might break down since there are circuit boards, components and so on. You know how it goes. The wire, it's still a safe bet, especially since you can reuse the wires as a pull line to run other cables, or even use 2.5 mm2 wire and turn the switches you had up high into outlets if, for example, you turn a room into a kitchen. Countertop outlet up high, so it's flexible. Anything is possible with wires. You can also install a wireless switch as a temporary fix. As I mentioned, if you've got a conduit or cable hanging on a partition wall and you want it neat, just cut it and install a wireless one. You'll find a solution either way. Still, there is a price difference. For me, wired is a safe bet, and it's not complicated to run a conduit. So in some cases, if it's a load-bearing wall, you'll actually have to chisel to cut a channel. If you have a wall chaser, that's even better. And sometimes it can be really tough to run fish tape through the walls to catch a conduit. It can be tough, but we get it done, no matter what. Okay, we've covered everything. Now let's move on to the home shopping segment. I know some of you love that. I'll show you the little tools I've used, the pliers, the Acnipex. Do I have a cable handy? Of course there are cables. There we go, I'm switching off the breaker. There we go, we cut it. I'll show you what it's for. There we go, there we go. Here is the Acnipex. You see, here I can cut my cable directly. I can, if I manage, use it there to strip it. I twist this every which way, I pull on it, and then I can, you see here, 1.5, 2.5. We position ourselves like this. We do this, and I stripped it. Same with the WIA, via WIA, you can pronounce it however you want. We can cut, and we can There we go. Strip. Since you've got 2.5 here and 1.5 here, honestly, this one is the one I prefer. Because the tip really lets you reach into an outlet and pull. I can strip a cable. You see the part that's here, I put myself here. I'm inside my electrical box. And there I marked it. I can twist it in every direction. And strip it. Okay, so WIA, Acnipex, they work very well, but I have a preference for this one. Then, as you saw, there's the Jokari pliers. That's a safe bet. It's been around for years. You adjust the stop, the depth, and you strip quite simply. Okay, well, a little demo. There you go. And there you go, Jokari. It's a safe bet. The little screwdriver that works well. So this is, I lost the brand. That's bad, huh? What's this brand? It's not a big deal. You'll find the link in the description. Vera, it's written on it. I'm silly. WIA, Vera, Acnipex. I can't keep up anymore. I'm too confused. Okay, so it has a special feature. If I press here, I switch it to turbo mode. Basically, I already showed this in a video. Here, it's locked. It's in classic screwdriver mode. If I press here and hold this part, then I turn it a quarter turn. It has already turned 3 times. Look, look. See? So that's the advantage when you're in a spot that's hard to reach, or when you're bent in all directions and you don't want to be stuck there forever. There, just a slight quarter turn and it's done. You see how many turns it makes. There you go. There you go. It's very practical for that. Then there's the same one with all the bits integrated inside. You press, it comes out. There are all the bits. Now I want to change bits. I press hop, I remove it, I take another one and I put it in. Okay? Of course it's insulated. Anyway, all the tools I've shown you here, they're insulated. Except for the Jokari pliers, we don't mess around stripping live wires because you'll get a shock. They're not insulated. The tester pens, I showed them to you to check the voltage. One last thing. The last thing I wanted to show you is the little Wago. This one, the inline model. Where are my Wagos? They're here. We know this type of Wago connector. Okay, you put it in. The cable goes inside. We'll take another one, a small brown one. Let's go. We put it inside. That gives me this. I'm supposed to do this. Imagine the choice in a cable duct. It takes up space. With the model that just came out, it's been out since March or April. I don't remember anymore. But my suppliers didn't have any. We put it on. There we go. I need a second blue one. I don't have any. That's okay. We'll take an orange one. And I don't have any more orange ones. I had a lot. There aren't any left. That's okay. Here, let's take a brown one. Orange and brown. Okay. So the advantage is that I save space in my raceway. And then even in a junction box, you go in, you go out. There's no need to make a loop with the Wago unless the box is very big. Okay, so this small model is the inline model. I'll show you the box. Here it is. The link will be in the description like the other tools I've shown. The wireless one, the box, even the bulb. I can give you a link if you want. So there's that. I didn't want to show you. I mentioned it to you earlier. This is a system that's good, but you really need to have space in the box. I told you earlier. The standard box. The deeper box. And even in a deeper box, it's still quite thick. So that's great if you have the space. The wiring devices, Legrand, Schneider. I'll put some links for you. And then we've covered everything. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you haven't taken a vacation yet, enjoy it. Go. Get some rest and come back refreshed. See you soon for the next video.